Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right, all right. Welcome back. Well, I know for some of you, you've had classes earlier because some of you are in my other class, and I feel a whole lot better than I did earlier. I'm like everybody else. I'm kind of going through this COVID thing. There are a lot of other things going on as well. We have a new platform called Canvas, and all of us are getting used to it. And we also have a new book for global business. Now, if you've talked to some of your classmates, they probably told you about the textbook we had last semester and kind of offered to sell it to you. But we actually have a new textbook now. So I'll get more into that in a minute. Well, I guess I should introduce myself. You all know my name, but I'll do the formality. I'm Dr. Daaim Shabazz. And this is my main course. This is a course I love teaching because I think it's, and you all will think I'm just saying this, but I think this is one of the most important courses. Why do I say that? Because we're not an island unto ourselves. You know, there's a lot of places to go, a lot of places to see, and a lot of things to do. And I'm hopeful that at the end of this class, you will have an idea of at least venturing abroad. Now, I usually give a study abroad kind of spiel about the importance of study abroad and how important it is for your building up your credentials for marketing purposes. And hopefully you all have looked into that. You all have looked into study abroad and you have considered it because it certainly is a game changer. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, it's a game changer. A lot of the students that we've had that have had study abroad, it's basically it's a gold standard. When someone sees that you've spent a semester or a year in China or Brazil or France or Indonesia or any of these places, it's different because first of all, people haven't been to some of these places. So the interview may be, oh, you did a study abroad in Thailand. How's Thailand? I've always wanted to go there. Now you got them because in an interview, you're talking about things that you like, and it's easy. And the other thing is they'll remember you. They'll remember the fact that you went to Thailand and you gave this uh, kind of travel log about how your trip went. So study abroad is very important. So if you're interested in that, we usually have Dr. William Hyman who comes to our class, well, physically, and talk to us about study abroad. So I might have him come via Zoom and talk to the class about those opportunities. How many of you have done a study abroad? Anybody? You can raise your hand. Oh, okay, Joshua. Where'd you go?
I went to China back in high school.
Okay.
I went to Shanghai, Beijing, and Hangzhou.
Was that a graduation trip or was that?
No, this was just like an exchange trip.
Oh, good. And you stayed how long?
It was only 3 weeks.
Oh, that's good. Three
Yeah.
three weeks is a good clip. I mean, you're not going to learn Chinese in 3 weeks, but still, it's better than just going, for a week or so. China is a huge place, so you can basically stay there, a whole month and not really see, or a whole year and not really see everything. But that's good. That's put that definitely. You have that on your resume, right?
Uh, no,
You don't.
I
Okay.
didn't.
Well, I would suggest that even if you don't, because it was in high school, you probably didn't put it because it was in high school. in high school. If you have places that you've traveled, you should put those on your resume. Say places traveled, China or wherever you have gone, put those on the bottom of your resume. I have them on mine. I have all the countries on mine. I list them. And that way, again, it's a way to kind of break the ice. If somebody sees one of the countries they visit, they'll say, "Oh, you've been to Cuba. I've been to Cuba, and what did you think of this place?" And you get to break the ice a bit. So I will find a way to Joshua to put China on your resume somewhere. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, just make sure it's on there.
For sure.
Okay, so let's get started. This is our first class. Generally, what we do is we just go over a few guidelines. Um, to be honest, class, I don't really fill up to going into a lot of detail in terms of things I usually go into. So, and I'll just tell you this: I had my brother passed away 2 days ago, and so there's been a lot of kind of a lot of emotional energy that I've been expending. He was very much into music, so I've been putting a lot of posts on Facebook about different types of. Well, he was not just uh, didn't just like music; he was a musician. He had played the drums, so I've been doing a lot of tributes, trying to trying to heal. Music is a healer, so I've been doing a lot of that. And my sister is also ill, so I've got this morning was rough. It was real rough because I had a lot of energy, a lot of tension about starting a new semester, starting with Canvas, starting with Cengage Publishing. All these things are new. So, but as time goes on, I'll settle down and be myself. But so if I'm a little shaky, and you'll kind of know why. I got a lot of energy going on here. But this is global business, and this is a favorite class of mine. I don't know how many of you all saw my announcements. I have some pictures in the bottom. I like to share my pictures and just different things that I've experienced abroad, because I think that it makes us curious. When we see pictures of places we've never gone, it makes us curious, and it makes us want to venture out, and it makes us want to explore, which is why I like to share these. And I have a lot of stories as well. But I'll just start talking about this course. This course is generally the last course that you'll take in a baccalaureate program. It's what's called at some schools the capstone, which means that you take all your other classes, the accounting, the marketing, the management, and all the other courses. Global business typically comes at the very end. And there are different philosophies. Some feel that global should come at the beginning, and then that will shape your global outlook through your 4 years. And then some believe it should come at the end so it can tie everything in. The way we do it here is we put it at the end. I'm currently working or going to be working on a global business curriculum. So you'll hopefully be able to get a concentration in global business. We're not quite there yet, but I have some work planned and look at some grants. And possibly that can lead to us having more trips. For example, years ago, we used to send students on these trips. In fact, we had, well, this was a long time ago. 2009 was the last time we had a trip abroad, and it was actually to China. So we took a group of students there, and of course, it was a wonderful experience. But in the last 10 years, we just haven't had the funds to do that. So hopefully I'll be able to come up with some grants, and we can take some of those trips that, again, you can put on your resume and say, this was a study abroad. Even if it's just a week, that's considered a study abroad experience. So again, that's something that we're planning to do. But this course is unique because it ties in marketing, economics, geography, finance, because we're going to be dealing with foreign currencies. Now, those of you who have traveled abroad know about the idea you got to change money out. You have your dollars and you change them out to whatever the currency is. And so we'll be doing some of that. This course also deals with culture, cross-cultural issues. You go to another country and you have, different customs, taking your shoes off, not wearing certain colors, and all of these things are very important to understand. Because if you hold a hand signal, like we do hand signals in the US. I mean, we do the thumbs up, and you see the fraternities and sororities, they got all kinds of hand signs, and then people go, they deuces, they give you the peace sign, right? That's the peace sign in the US and in most places, but of course these hand signs can mean different things. Next thing you know, somebody said, hey, you just flipped them off. They said, wait a minute, I did this. And they say, yeah, that means you're flipping somebody off. You're giving them the middle finger here. And you say, wow, I didn't know. I'm sorry about that. And, you just have to say that you didn't know about that custom. This course also deals with cross-cultural management. It deals with economics, so supply and demand, going from the US or going from one country to the other. There's all these dynamics in between. President Trump talks a lot about trade deals that he's done with overseas countries. And of course, what we buy here is a factor of where we get it from. So say, for example, that we go to Walmart, and where do you think most of the products in Walmart come from? You all can come from China. And there's another kicker. You have a trade war, and they're talking about, okay, well, we're going to slap tariffs on you, or we're going to tax this, we're going to tax that. If you do that, then what is the result? What is the result of slapping tariffs on China? How does that affect the price of goods being exchanged? Let's say the US slaps a $100 billion tariff on China. Then what do you think will happen?
The price will go up.
The price will go up for what goods? If the US slaps a $100 billion tariff on China, then what happened? What happens to those goods?
The price of them come up that are made in China.
Okay, so the price goes up, which means what? What does that do to demand? Supply and demand, right? Price goes up, then what happens? You all remember that curve, that supply and demand curve? So you have this thing where you have these taxes and tariffs that are assessed on Chinese imports. So a tariff is essentially a tax, and it increases the amount that is that product costs. So if that happens, if you have higher prices, then because of price elasticity, the demand is affected. Demand goes down, you look for substitute products. You look for cheaper alternatives to the Chinese-made product. So what happens in China, what happens in Japan, what happens in Europe, even what happens in Latin America and Africa affect us, because you have a global supply chain. And anywhere along the supply chain, if something is affected, then it also affects the supply chain, the end product. So we're going to be looking at some of these issues. We're going to be looking at trade, and you deal with a lot of economics, finance. I mentioned the currencies. What happens when a currency appreciates versus depreciates? What happens to the debt load? So we'll do some conversions. If you're going from, let's say, the US to Brazil, you have 100 US dollars, then how much is that in Brazilian currency? It's pretty easy, right? But in order to do that, you need what? If you want to change $100 to Brazilian real, or real is how it's pronounced in Portuguese, what do you need to make that conversion? What's that called? I go to Brazil, I have $100.
You need a passport?
You need a passport, but what else do you need? If you want to change that money, $100, you need Brazilian currency, because you have to have Brazilian currency in Brazil. So when you change that money, you need something in order to make the conversion. What is that called?
Don't you need the exchange rate?
You need the exchange rate. So that determines, and of course the exchange rate, it changes every day. So depending on when you're going and what country it is, that's going to determine how you make that exchange. So we'll get into that. We'll get into currency dynamics. We'll watch quite a number of videos. This course is actually set up with both synchronous meetings, which is the meeting we're having now, and asynchronous, which means that we're not physically, we're not virtually going to meet. It'll be a meeting that you have on your own. It might entail you watching a video or doing an exercise. So we have kind of half and half. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. Word gets around and students have things that they say about you. If it's bad, it's not true. But no, I take criticism as well. It's good. It's all good. But I would say, for me, I've been here 22 years teaching global business and a number of other courses. I've taught, believe it or not, I taught Intro to Business Systems. I taught fundamental concepts. I've taught world resources, international marketing. I've taught a lot of courses. And you might ask, how did you teach Intro to Business Systems? Well, my first degree was computer science. I have a computer science degree from Chicago State. And I was writing code for 8 hours a day. That's what I did for a laboratory. And I was pretty good at it, but I don't know how many of you are into coding, but now it's come back, and that's probably something you need to look at. You may need to look at taking a course in coding or at least understanding what it is and how it works. That's another one of those things that you can add on your resume to make you a lot more marketable. But for me, I just didn't like sitting in an office all day long writing code. So I went to a career counselor, and she said, I had a lot of activities, extracurricular activities, because I was involved in a lot of stuff. And she said, you should be on the marketing side of computers. And that's what I did. I started applying for positions, and I ended up in the marketing field for a computer company. And then one important thing happened to me right as before I was going to graduate school, because I'd applied to go to graduate school. But that job that I was working, I got laid off. Imagine that. Some of you know people now who have been laid off because of the effects of the coronavirus. Well, yeah, I got laid off. But it was because the computer industry was going through its turbulence. And so this was right before I was to go to graduate school. And I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do for the next 5 months? So I get, there's a magazine, it was called Black Collegian. I don't think they print it anymore, but there was an ad to go to Egypt. And I said, that's interesting. I've always wanted to go to Egypt, and it cost $1,700. And I'm thinking, okay, I saved up money to go to grad school. I don't know if I can afford that. So I thought about it, and I got a letter, and the tour leader said, hey, the deadline is such and such. You need to send $100 to reserve your spot. So I thought about it, and I went and I sent the $100. And later I was able to pay for the trip. And here's the thing, I'm choosing between money for school and going on a trip. Now, it was a tough choice for me because I'm thinking, oh, I need this money for school. But when I went on this trip, it happened to be one of the best things that I've ever done. One of the best uses of money because I went to Egypt, and that place is like no other place. And I just, I was there only 17 days, but to see all the temples, to see the monuments, to see the hieroglyphics on the wall, it was just incredible. It was mind blowing. And it totally changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my life. And, now because I went on that trip, I started thinking globally. I started thinking, okay, there's something else that I can explore. I also met a person on the trip. He was one of my two roommates. He was from Haiti, and unfortunately he died young. But we had developed a relationship on that trip, and this guy was so sharp. I was like, man, this guy is well read. He's worldly. He speaks multiple languages, and so I was very impressed at that. So that encouraged me to come back to the US and start becoming more interested in global affairs. And after I did my MBA, I said, okay, I want to do something global. So I ended up getting a doctorate in international affairs and development. And then I ended up being hired by Dean Mobley. I don't know if you all have, some of you are from Tallahassee and you may have known about her or may have even seen her when you were smaller, but this woman was she was the ultimate pioneer, and she really sold this program. It was a program that really commanded respect. Our students were sharp. They were equal to any other student, and we're talking about our students coming out of this HBCU environment, going out there and taking no prisoners. So that's the kind of tradition that we have here. And I put in 22 years here, and I've seen a lot of success. I follow my students on Facebook and LinkedIn, and it's really amazing that they still keep in contact with me. I really get a kick out of that. But this course is designed for you to gain a broader perspective. And there's kind of a progression of being globally disconnected, meaning not really knowing anything about global affairs, all the way to coming to being very fluent in terms of global affairs and languages and that sort of thing. What I would like to do with this program is have a foreign language requirement, which we don't have. We won't be able to do that, the whole curriculum, but if we have a global business concentration, then we can have some kind of a language facility where our students won't be handicapped. How many of you speak more than one language? You can hit the raise hand thing if you want. Okay. So we only see one person? Okay, I guess we got to work on it. That's something we got to work on. This whole foreign language thing, because I'll tell you, when you're doing business, especially overseas, you're in rooms and people are they have these side conversations and they're speaking in French over here, and then somebody's speaking in Spanish and somebody's speaking in another language. And you have English. Yeah, they understand English, but you don't understand what they're saying. So kind of puts you at a disadvantage. And so it's incumbent upon us to begin to look at language fluency, or at least some exposure to language as one of the things that we do here. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of foreign language classes. We used to have a foreign language major, but they cut it. And so you can take Spanish or French, but you can't get a degree in it, unfortunately. Okay, so let me go to the syllabus, and I'm going to share the screen. So you all should be able to see it now. So you all have gone through this a couple of times today. And so I won't bore you with all the details. I'll just get to the kind of the important points. Now this class is held via Zoom on our synchronous days. And that link that you see at the top, that's going to be good for the rest of the semester. So you don't have to worry about getting an invitation from me to attend class. That'll always be the link. No password is needed. And you can, of course, join the Zoom meetings through Canvas. You don't have to join via Zoom, via the Zoom app. You can do either, but it's probably easier to go through Canvas. In terms of office hours, okay, we're virtual, so it's a little bit more flexible because you don't necessarily have to, you know, come to my office and walk across campus. You have these hours Monday and Wednesday from 10 to 12, and then I break for an hour, and then from 1 to 3. Or by appointment. If you want to make an appointment, you can't make these days, just let me know and we can set up an appointment. Even Friday. Now Friday generally is a time where faculty, we have our meetings and we have other things going on. So a lot of times you'll see professors not have these office hours on Friday. But if you want to meet on Friday, if that's the only day you can meet and you want it one-on-one, then we can do that as well. And my office hours are held at this Zoom link here, which is a separate meeting room. It has a waiting room, and when you queue up, I'll let you in one by one, or I can let you several people in at one time. If we're having a group project and the whole group wants to come, and then we can all be in the same meeting. I think we're fairly squared away as far as the status of the students. This is a 4,000 level class. So what that tells you is that this is a senior level class. 4,000 being for the fourth year. But it's basically taken in the junior and senior year. So if you're below that, and I don't see many people below that, but if you're a sophomore or a freshman, then you're going to need to get special clearance to be in this class, because there are prerequisites prerequisite knowledge rather. I think most of you should have had marketing, principles of marketing. Some of you are taking it now in my earlier class. Principles of management is another class, and also econ, economics courses. You should have had those. We do some supply and demand. It's not a lot of stuff. We're not doing econometric models or anything like that, but we just do basic supply and demand. So you don't have to be intimidated by when I say economics. But that is important to have going into this class. So of course, this is all distance learning, and this is the textbook. So we have brand new textbook. You probably have seen it. I have the virtual, so you can't really see it. But if you go to the announcement page, you'll see a cover of it. And I also have information concerning how you order it through Cengage. You probably have gotten this from your other professors as well, those who have adopted Cengage text. So what that is you pay a subscription, a flat fee, and then you get all your books. So if you have 4 books that you need from Cengage, you pay one flat fee, you get all 4 of them. And we did that so it could be a lot more cost effective for students, because I mean, we all have been students before, and the bookstores, they stick it to you. You have books that are $200, $150, and it's a markup. You know, you all have had marketing, so you all know about markups. But what the value proposition that the bookstore gives you is convenience. You know, you will walk over and you will get your book. But of course, the online channel has changed all of that. Now you have options. So they've had to come up with other models to accommodate a better price structure. So again, this is Canvas. This is brand new. Folks, I'm still kicking the tires. I'm still learning, you know, just like you are, but I'm going to put in some hours, more hours this weekend, trying to make sure I have all the modules that are imported, so that some of you who are ambitious are going to start looking at some of the material this weekend or immediately. So I hope to have all of that, all the modules set up. And typically, I will put copies of the slides up for the first couple of chapters, just so, I mean, you're in the process of getting your book, you'll at least have something to look at in the interim. Also if you look at this, I'm going to switch screens. So if you've seen this is just kind of a welcome message, but then you go here for registering. It gives you some guidelines for how you register for Cengage. You have to have an account, and then you go through this process of getting the 14-day trial, or you can just get your subscription. There is a Zoom link here if you kind of want to know the step-by-step way in order to order those materials. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this because it's just verbiage, and you know, I'll tell you a story. When I first got here, and we're talking over 20 years ago, my syllabus was 4 pages. It's about 4 pages. Now it's probably about 12. You know, because we have to keep putting different stuff in there for accreditation purposes. Now for COVID, we had to put a statement in here about COVID. That if you're in a classroom environment, you should cover your, you know, use a mask, cover your face, social distancing, all of that. So that, of course, we're covered in saying that, okay, we have told the students these are the guidelines, and if somebody gets sick, then, you know, they can't say that we didn't give them that information. So, you know, we have to put that information for the safety of the students and the faculty. Any questions so far? Okay, this stuff I'm not going to. You all can recite this probably. All the mission statement and the motto. It says Dean Mobley's motto. I'm going to go to the course requirements.
Could you make it a little bigger? Like full screen? Okay.
Okay. So in terms of the Zoom meetings, I do take attendance every day, and you probably have heard that I take attendance. Particularly in person, I'm a stickler because it's really important to have that presence in class. But because we're in Zoom, we have to do it a different way. But today, I'm going to go through, have everyone to do kind of an introduction, and then that way I can kind of check you off and then put you in iRattler so that your financial aid will be dispersed. So attendance will be taken. Now, I may use an app to do that. Now, they've given us an app to use. I haven't tested it. I've heard different things about it. Some say it's good, some say it doesn't work. But I'm going to test that a little more before I go all in on it. But certainly just make sure you're here. And it is actually best practices to have your video feed on. Now there was a debate about, in fact, I asked this in a faculty meeting about the video, and one answer was that, okay, if you have, everybody has their video feed on, then you might have network lag because you got bandwidth issues. That was one view. But then lately they're saying it's best practices for everyone to have their video feed on so that you develop more of a face-to-face kind of interaction. So that is, you may have gotten that from the dean or one of your training sessions. But so we're going to go with that, especially if you're speaking. There's nothing worse. Let's say I turn my video off and I just had a black box. That would be pretty weird. I mean, you would probably be encouraged to turn your own feed off because I don't have mine on. So even if you don't have the video feed on, which I would prefer, make sure that you put a still picture so that you don't just have a black box. And you put, a nice picture of you smiling or however you want it, a professional picture in case you have a Zoom call with a company. And if you have to go off, if you have to turn the video off to get up and leave the room, then there's still a picture there. There's not this black box that's staring at you. And again, we're all learning. We're learning the new protocols and best practices as well. So again, my office hours are listed. And again, if you want to have a meeting outside the office hours, then we can do that. I will actually have discussion boards for us to do, and that's going to be part of the grade. So I'll pose different types of discussion questions. You will respond to those, and then others can respond to yours as well, so we can have more of an exchange. And typically, those are about current events. Let me tell you something about textbooks. Even the textbook that I have here, this copyright is, this copyright is 2017. And I didn't realize that. This textbook I'm holding is copyrighted in 2017. Now, how old is that book? That's not a trick. Well, it's kind of a trick question. How old is this book? It was copyrighted in 2017. And how old is it? It's at least 3 years old. Because imagine when you write the book, if you're an author and you're writing a book, you're probably getting information leading up to the time you publish it. So some of the information may be from 2016, 2015, if you look at some of the charts. So this is at least 3 years old, and maybe the information is older, which means that we may have a book with cases in it that may be outdated because things are changing so fast. So that's why we do more of the kind of the current events. We have people come to class and talk to us about industry. We bring articles in. You'll do journal articles, which is a mainstay of this course, where you have to, where it used to be, you have to stand up in front of class and present this article. So we're not doing that now. You'll actually have to make a video. And that video is only 5 minutes, but you're able to do it in many takes. You might say, oh, I messed up. Okay, let me shoot it again. Let me shoot it. Let me change this. So that's something that you can do as opposed to standing up in front of class and it's like, okay, I made this mistake and now he's going to mark down. So we're going to do a little different since we have the virtual environment. For the, just before I go for the net etiquette. So I have the net etiquette here. And you all know some of this just from social media. When people go in all caps, that means they're going in on you. You know, it's like, why are you shouting? You know, it's all caps. So don't type in all caps. You know, if you're responding to someone, emoticons, those are okay if you don't overdo it. You know, you get the little smiley faces and the symbols. I mean, those are cool. just as long as you don't go overboard, like some people like to use them. And typically you don't use those in more formal correspondence either. You try not to use those because it's a little too informal to use those emoticons in that environment. Also try to avoid slang and vernacular. Sometimes I get papers and I read stuff and it's like, okay, I know what they're saying and I know the spirit, but it's a little bit too informal. It's kind of might be some slang words in there, and so I'll just make a note on it that try to keep your composure and try to keep your formality when you're doing assignments. Okay, so exams and quizzes. So I talked about the business journal. Everybody will do one business journal, only one. There will be two parts to your journal. There will be a written part and there will be an oral part. The oral part is the video that you'll do, where you'll shoot a video, going over the article, expressing it, coming up with maybe different insights that you have, maybe some current events, maybe some things out of the book that you want to add in. Then the written part you will submit to me, and then I will grade it on Canvas. I almost said Blackboard, but I will grade it on Canvas, and then you'll get that part. You'll get 2 grades for the journal, and that is 10% of the grade. If you have to miss your day, because there are 4 journal days, and so I have about 10 people per class. If for whatever reason you have to, you can't get your video done because of some situation, maybe a family situation, just let me know. Let me know, and then I can put you on the next day, or we can make some other arrangements to accommodate you. But just let me know. Our exams, we will take 4 exams, and we will take a variable amount of quizzes. I don't know how many quizzes. Now that I have MindTap for Cengage, they have a lot of quizzes that I can use. It used to be that I'd make up my own quizzes, but since I have all these resources, I might just, I got more quizzes that I can give you. But no matter how many we take, that'll be 10% of the grade. So if we take 20 quizzes, 10%, 10 quizzes, 10%, 5 quizzes, 10%, they're all 10%, or the quizzes altogether is 10%. Each exam is 10% by itself. So we'll do 4 of those, and typically they're multiple choice, especially now given the platform that we have. I can give some essay exams, and I might have some short answer questions, but for the most part, they're going to be multiple choice. And then you'll have, of course, it'll be automated and 1 question at a time. You will need Respondus Lockdown Browser. Last semester, there was a problem with some of the students who had Chromebooks. And I don't know what all that's about, but I understand that, it's now even with a Chromebook, you're able to use that, the Lockdown Browser. The group project. So this is the Global Business Market Assessment, 10% of the grade. And this is where the class is divided into groups. Now, this is a little different because we're not face-to-face, and that kind of messes up the whole group dynamic. And but I will say this, that when you go to out to work, you do have businesses where you have these groups. People have never met each other. Somebody might be in Singapore, and somebody might be in Mexico, somebody might be in England, but they're a group and they're working on the same project. So this is kind of getting us used to that reality of kind of this distance communication. And so this market assessment is a group project, but it should be doable because we did it last semester, and it ultimately worked out. And typically what this entails is for each group will have a country, and you will have to do a market assessment on the feasibility of marketing products from the US into that country. Now you might say that's easy, right? Because you just take your product and you just ship it over, right? But what's the problem? What's the problem when you try to ship products overseas? It's a, you know, you can just blurt out. It doesn't, I'm not looking for a precise answer. I'm just looking for what you're thinking.
There's regulation with like shipping, like such as tariffs, and if your country has a good relationship with that other country.
Okay. What else? What are some other barriers? You have this product that's selling well in the US, you've done well, but you're going overseas. So you got the tariff issue, which means that's a protectionist measure that that country has, but it's also to raise revenue. Taxes are to raise revenue for the country. But you got a lot of other barriers. And some of those barriers we'll get into later. There are tariff and non-tariff barriers.
Is one of them an embargo?
One of them is an embargo. And what country do we have an embargo with?
You said which one do we have one
Which
currently?
country do we have an embargo with?
Is it China?
Nope.
Cuba?
Cuba. So we have an embargo against Cuba since I think 1960. So that's, I mean, you do the math. That's a long time. Cuba is 90 miles south of, you know, Florida, and Cuba is a beautiful place. I've been there, and I mean,
Yeah,
you can go legally. Has anybody gone to Cuba?
Yeah, I went there.
Malik. So what were your impressions of it?
It's kind of scary how far they are behind, like with the world. And I think the newest car I seen was probably like 1965. Like,
Well, you know, they see, Malik is talking about the old cars, and if you looked at this, this is Cuba. Can you all see this the red car? I'm hoping the screen is sharing the right way. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
So this is Cuba, and you see these are cars from 1950. So why are they keeping these old cars? Well, it's kind of a source of pride, because if you go to Cuba and you see these cars, some of them look like they just came off the lot. I mean, they're immaculate and, you know, condition. But obviously these cars used to run on leaded gas, and they no longer, you know, you can't get leaded gas now. So the Cubans have to fix the car so that it takes unleaded gas. And so I mean, it's an amazing place. It's the people are nice, they're friendly, they love Americans. But what they'll tell you, they'll say, oh, you know, Americans, we love Americans, but politics bad. Politics bad. Because of the embargo. And they want to have a normal relationship with Americans, but politically it just hasn't been the case. President Obama did open up a lot of things with Cuba, but then some of those were rolled back under the Trump administration. But certainly Cuba is one of those places that I would certainly recommend for a place of travel. Okay, so that the cross-cultural issue is also something that you'd have to deal with. You have a product that is American, you ship it overseas. For example, let's say you go to Dubai and on business, and you have this product and you think will work in Dubai. Now that's the United Arab Emirates. And what's the predominant religion in that region? What's the predominant religion in the United Arab Emirates?
Islam? Muslim?
Islam. And what kind of prohibition, let's say that you have a product, it's a food product. What are the prohibitions of that the United Arab Emirates would have of food coming in? Take a guess.
Well, I know they don't eat pork, so I'm thinking they don't get as much pork to their country.
Okay, that's one.
Rice, possibly?
So pork, what else? Intoxicants.
Alcohol?
Alcohol. So if you're selling a beverage, then it has to be what is called halal. Halal means what is permissible. That's in the religion. So that is what is permissible. And so you have to actually have a certificate. You have to get a halal certificate to sell food products and drinks in that country. And it has to be inspected. And otherwise, if you don't have the halal certified stamp, you're not going to get your products in. And that can be frustrating because what does that mean? That means you have to change your product. You may have to, let's say, if you have gelatin. Now gelatin is made out of cow hooves. It's boiled and it's comes sticky and it's made out of the Jello you eat and the gummy bears and all that. And I hate maybe I shouldn't have said that. I probably have folks who love gummy bears, but okay, that's what it's made out of. Now, if you want your products to sell in the United Arab Emirates, you have to change your product. You have to retest it. You have to come up with a vegetable alternative. And then, of course, it has to go through testing. So that can really be a lot for you to have to do. And, of course, a lot more cost to make your product work. So in this market assessment, you're going to do something similar to this. You're going to have to look at all the differences, the economic differences, the social differences, the infrastructure, and see what changes you have to make to your product so that it can succeed in that foreign market. I have a statement of COVID. Essentially, we're not physical, but of course, face covering, social distancing, all of these things we've had to put into our syllabi because, we have to protect the university by saying, okay, well, we have given everybody these regulations. And so if somebody gets sick and, let's say they get deathly ill and somebody wants to sue the university, well, we have to have a statement in here saying that we have made sure the students all knew about the regulations and the policies. So I just put this in here just a couple days ago. And then all these other things, non-discrimination, free from any form of discrimination, including race, religion, color, age, disability, sex, marital status, national origin, veteran status, and sexual harassment is prohibited by state and federal statutes. And so even as we're virtual, these things are prevalent because you all may know that when you're online, you can harass somebody and you can wreak havoc in somebody's life, just by messages. And, people have actually committed suicide because of these bullying attacks online. But as far as these discrimination and these tactics, as far as I'm concerned, in my class, you're free from those. Even if, one way or the other, I get people from my hometown, Chicago, and it's good. It's good to see somebody from Chi-Town, and you'll make that known, and I'll be glad that you're from Chi-Town. But I don't play the favorites, because you're in my organization or from my hometown, or even went to my high school, and of course I still have to be fair. So, and I say that because sometimes at the end of the class, someone is on a borderline and they're at an 88.8 or they're close, and they'll say, Dr. Shabazz, can I have an extra assignment? so I can get the next letter grade, right? We want an A. Now I can't do that. That's unethical. If I did that, that would be unethical for me to give that to that one student and not give it to the others. So make sure that you do all the work that you're assigned to do, and then you max out your opportunity. Everybody has the same amount, same chance to get the same grades. So if you do have those situations, then you should, if you feel that you're discriminated against, then you should, if you can't talk to the professor, which you should in a professional way, if you can't come to a resolution, then you go to the department chair. That's who you go to. If you feel that this has happened, go to the department chair, and then there's a process for that, which involves filing a grievance. And then what happens is the department chair will bring the professor, well, the department chair will talk to the faculty and talk to the student. And then if there's no resolution, bring them in and try to resolve it. If not, then it goes further. It goes up the ladder. But hopefully we won't have any of that in SBI this semester. Academic honor policy, this has been said 100 times, cheating. I'm really, I'm really intolerant of cheating, and it's for a lot of reasons. And I won't, go into the speech now. We'll have enough opportunities for me to talk about it. But I have a lot of stories about people who have could not resist the temptation to be dishonest. In one case, I had a classmate who cheated in accounting because, accounting is difficult, right? You all can attest to that. It's challenging. And so this student was dishonest and got his grade and got his degree, got a master's degree. It's like, wow, got an MBA in finance. So he gets a job at a bank. They give him an assignment to do. It had accounting, and he couldn't do it. Now he has a master's degree. He couldn't do the accounting because he had cheated and didn't learn the concepts. He started calling classmates asking for help. Now listen to this. You got a degree just like I have a degree. You calling me to help you with your work at your job? So we have our own issues. And so they ultimately fired him because he couldn't resolve it. And they called the school and asked, how do you graduate this guy? It was embarrassing to the school. It was embarrassing to me as an alumnus. And that was really something, to be fired on the spot because you're incompetent. So we don't want to have any of those situations where students feel I need to get by and I got to get this grade because it's going to catch up to you sooner or later. And if you get caught, you could get an F. That just ruin your whole transcript. So yeah, I think you all know the deal as far as that's concerned. The issue with ADA compliance, and if you need special conditions to take the exam, just let me know. You can do that in private. We can handle the paperwork, and then I can set special arrangements for you to get more time or a different exam, or even one that has a bigger font if you have problems with vision. Okay, the thing about cell phones, we're not in a class, and I'm going to treat you as an adult. We're at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to begin to wrap up. I'm going to treat you as the adults that I know that you are. Everybody is using cell phones, we know that. But of course, during class, if you have some business, let's say a relative, if it's something really important, typically you would excuse yourself, you would take the call and you would come back. But of course you don't want it to be Snapchat or something, Twitter or Facebook or one of these other social media, because that's just not a good habit to go into, because you'll continue that path in other classes. And we're not in a physical class to prevent that. So, but if you have some business to do, we're professionals here, and you can do that. But, I don't want to look up and see you laughing, and I'm not saying anything that's funny, so I'll know that something is going on. The other thing is, we're at home or we're in our apartments. You want to make sure you set your environment so that it's comfortable, that it's well lit, that it's you don't have people coming behind you, calling you, or your dog is coming up, jumping into your lap, or your cat, or whatever the case may be. You want to kind of control your environment a little, as much as you can, and for an hour and 15 minutes, and that helps with your learning, with your ability to learn. The SBI dress code, I think you all know the deal. You're juniors and seniors. Since we're virtual, it's not like you're walking in class and we're looking at you, but just as long as you don't have your pajamas on and, a shower cap or something like that. And that goes for us too. That goes for professors. There have been some funny incidents from professors. I don't want to get into it, but there are things such as people don't know that their video is on, and then this person is doing something and people are actually watching them. And it's embarrassing, but you want to make sure that you're fully clothed, that if you get up, that we don't see something that we're not supposed to see. There was a guy who, it was a picture. It was just a picture in an article. This guy was a news reporter. He was doing a news report. And so they had the picture, and you can see he had on a jacket like me and a shirt, but he didn't have on any pants, because you can see his leg. His leg was bare, and he had a suit jacket on and a shirt. And somebody tweeted it, and he says, "Oh yeah, you got me. That was my fault." But you don't want that to be you. You don't want to be in an interview and somebody looks and say, "This person's not wearing any pants." So just make sure that you're presented in a respectful way. We have writing resources, the writing lab. I would recommend Grammarly. I have Grammarly, but I have to pay for it. I don't think you all have to pay for it. So that's something that I would definitely use for writing. It is a very good resource. Or, of course, you can use Microsoft. They have the spell check and the grammar check as well, but I don't think it's as good as Grammarly. And here's a course schedule subject to change. We have a combination of Zoom meetings. I'm going to make some changes to this so it will be apparent to which meetings are synchronous versus asynchronous. Synchronous is what we're doing now. Asynchronous is that you go offline and you do some exercises or you watch a video. And this is where we'll be going. And we'll have our final exam. It is their finals week at the very end. And we'll have our presentations done on the last day of class. And so you can take a look at this, and maybe I'll be able to put some of these in Canvas, and it will give you a reminder as to what's coming up. So that is it for the syllabus, and you can read the rest on your own. We're at about 5 minutes after. So why don't we have about 40 people in class. So if we can just go around and you can just introduce yourself. I can take roll as we go around. What I'm going to do is just call your name and then you do the introduction. Reagan Anderson.
Hi, everyone. I'm Reagan Anderson. I'm a third-year business administration student from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Jasmine Aguilar.
Greetings, I'm Jasmine Aguilar, a third-year business student from West Palm Beach, Florida.
John Keach Bailey. John Keach is not here. Jordan Berry. Johnny Brown.
Greetings, I am Johnny Brown, a fourth-year business student from the Virgin Islands.
Okay. Are you from the U.S. Virgin Islands or the British Virgin Islands?
The U.S.
U.S. Okay.
Going to be specific.
Joshua Brown.
What's good? I am Joshua Brown, a third-year business administration student from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. Justin Brown.
Greetings, I am Justin Brown, a third-year business administration student from Clewiston, Florida.
Patricia Crawford.
Hi, I'm Patricia Crawford, a third-year business administration student from Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So you're an hour behind, right?
Oh no, I'm in Tallahassee right now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Cicely Dews.
Greetings, I am Cecily Dews, a third-year business administration student from Macon, Georgia.
Shania Foster.
Greetings, my name is Shanae Foster. I'm a third-year business administration student from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Is that Keen Gamble?
Kanae.
Kanae. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. My name is Kanae Gamble. I'm a third-year accounting student, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Jordan Gilliard.
Hello, I'm Jordan Gilliard, a fourth-year business administration student from Atlanta, Georgia.
Simone Harris.
Greetings, I am Simone Harris, a third-year business administration student from Gainesville, Florida.
Soleil Harvey.
It's Jonna. It put my middle name Soleil, but
okay.
Greetings. I am Jonna Harvey, a third-year business administration student from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay. Jordan Jennings.
Greetings, I am Jordan Jennings, a third-year business administration student from Columbia, South Carolina.
Daya, do you go by Jones or Muhammad, or do you use a hyphenation?
I just go by Jones.
Jones, okay.
Greetings, I am Daya Jones, a third-year business administration student from Tampa, Florida.
Caleb Laverty.
Greetings, everyone. I am Caleb Laverty, a third-year accounting scholar from the Bombay of Pembroke, Florida.
Laverty.
Yes, Laverty.
Laverty. Bree Mathis. Ariana Mosley. Let's see, this name, Heinrich Murray. Help me with the pronunciation.
Oh, it's Enrique.
Enrique, okay.
Yeah. Greetings, I am Enrique Murray, a third-year business administration student from Orlando, Florida.
Melina Murray.
Greetings, I am Melina Murray, a third-year business administration student from Britain, Florida.
Shamaya Osby.
Greetings, I am Shamaya Osby, a fourth-year business administration student from Belle Glade, Florida.
Alexia Panier. Alexia. Jalen Parker. Okay, Alexia's here.
Hello, I am Alexia Panier, a third-year business.
Okay. Jalen Parker.
Administration, third-year business administration student from West Palm Beach.
Okay. Jalen Parker.
Greetings, I am Jalen Parker, a third-year business administration student from Jacksonville, Florida.
Zaria Parrish.
Hi, I'm Zaria Parrish, a third-year accounting student from Jacksonville, Florida.
Kundai Perry. Help me with the first name.
Kendall Perry. Greetings. I am Kendall Perry, a third-year
business administration student from Boston.
Yeah, the reason I pronounced it that way because the L that I'm reading looks like an I at the end. But
It's
an
okay.
L.
Some
It's
people
an
mess it
L.
up. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an L. I thought it was an A.
Yeah.
Malik Prasad.
Hi, I'm Malik Prasad. I'm a fourth-year business administration student from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
All right. Kalani Phelps.
Greetings. I am Kalani Phelps, a fourth-year business administration student from Tampa, Florida. And excuse me, I'm at work right now, so if you hear any noise.
Okay. Maurice Pickett.
Greetings, I'm Maurice Pickett, the second fourth-year business administration student from Tampa, Florida.
Yahara, is that Yahara Pino?
Jahira with a J.
With a J. Okay.
Yes. Greetings, I am Jahira Pino, a third-year business admin student from Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Okay. Malik Poindexter.
Greetings, I am Malik Poindexter, third-year business administration student from Atlanta, Georgia.
Lachey Richardson.
Greetings, I am Lachey Richardson, a third-year business administration student from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Imani Redenbacher.
Rickenbacker. Greetings, I am Damani Rickenbacker, a third-year business administration major from Brooklyn, New York, by the way, Orlando, Florida.
Thank you. Rickenbacker, right?
Rickenbacker.
Backer, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shakayla Robinson.
Greetings, I am Shakayla Robinson, a fourth-year business administration from Fort Pierce, Florida.
Kiani Rozier.
It's Rosier.
Rozier.
Yeah, greetings. My name is Kiani Rosier, a third-year business administration student from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Julian Santiago.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Julian Santiago, a fourth-year business administration student from Tampa, Florida.
Victoria Scott. Victoria Scott.
I'm here. Greetings. I am Victoria Scott, a third-year business administration student from Miami, Florida.
Ariana Shabazz.
Greetings, I am Ariana Shabazz, a third-year accounting student from Tallahassee, Florida.
Christian Spearman. Brian Squires. Madison Stansberry.
Hi, I'm Madison Stansberry, a third-year business administration student from Panama City, Florida.
Taylor Steele.
Greetings, I am Taylor Steele, a third-year business administration student from Cincinnati, Ohio.
And Jada Thomas. Is it Jada or Jada?
It's Jada.
Jada.
Greetings, I am Jada Thomas, a third-year business administration student from Stark, Florida.
Okay, I'm going back over. Bailey, Barry, Mathis, Spearman, Squires.
I'm sorry, did you call Mosley?
Yes. No,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
the names I just called are the names of people who did not answer, and I'm just calling them again to make sure I didn't miss anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. That everybody? Okay, so make sure that you look for some messages this weekend as far as discussion. I actually have a question, a little assignment. It's not really graded, but it's just for you, something for you to think about. Kind of want you to give me, it's very simple, where you want to travel to and why. It's very simple. And the thing is that if you haven't traveled before, if you write it down and you think about it, then that kind of puts it into motion to happen. So that's just a a little assignment, and maybe we can discuss it a little bit in terms of where we want to go, where we want to travel to, and I think it'll make for a good discussion. So we're not meeting here on Thursday because you all have the 4.0 training, and so I won't see you all until the following week. I should have the modules populated on to Canvas. Some of you are fast starters and you want to get started soon, but September 1st on Tuesday, we'll be back here and we'll start on chapter 1. And I'll also have an article that we will discuss for class, a very short article about a product. Basically what I just said, taking a product from the US and then going overseas and looking at all the different issues that you have to face. All right. Any questions? So the exams are going to be on, they're going to be on Canvas. But of course, you access Canvas through the, you log on to Canvas, the material is actually in Cengage. So I'll give you specificity as to where the documents, where the exam will be specifically. But yeah, I'll explain it in more detail. I'm still talking with the Cengage people to set some of these things up. So I'll give more detail as we go forth. Any other questions? I appreciate the condolences. Brother passed away 2 days ago, and I'm got a lot of emotions going on now, but I'll be good. So if you see me kind of, out of sorts, then you'll know why. But I appreciate the condolences, and if there are no other questions, I'll see you all on next Tuesday.